Hi everyone, I'm Airier, and today we're going to be looking at two more Puffin Forest videos. The first one up is, and I'm definitely pulling this up because I remember the name, D&D Stories. The Last Orders at the Yawning Portal Tavern. And the opening screen is a radioactive site and warning, spoilers. The spoilers make sense because he's probably going through a D&D story from a portal or from a book campaign, so makes sense. The radioactive sign is kind of concerning. I have questions. And then D&D story, the worst solutions. And worst is an acronym with a dot between each letter. Huh. Oh, but I'm looking at the thumbnail and I recognize the cute little bear friend. And the paladin who is just done with all your shit. That is definitely the best way to put it. So I'm looking forward to a continuation of that campaign because I just like seeing anything that happens to that zany mess of crazy. So yeah, I just want to jump right in. I don't really know what Yawning Portal Tavern is. I'm guessing, because of the spoilers again, that it's from one of the campaign booklets. Not really sure which one in particular, but it's good for me either way because I haven't got that far. And I'll probably forget when I get around to playing them, if I get around to playing them. I am slowly finding people who are willing to play a D&D game in person, but it's just one of those, time is a thing. Yeah, so you guys know the deal. Link below, original video. You've already hit up? Great! Let's get started.
Just an upfront warning. This video has spoilers for the module Last Orders at the Yawning Portal, the epic I ran for a convention. So yeah.
Oh, it was a convention module.
Onto the video.
Oh, and it's Waterdeep exclusive. Okay.
Epic for a convention. So you can have large sizes of players like 20, 30, 40, 50 people. The story takes place in Undermountain, which is a dungeon so massive it's like an entire continent with its own cities, towns, and regions, run by Halaster Blackcloak, the Mad Mage. Many who venture into its dark halls never return.
Because they got lost on a continent-sized city?
Rich, or changed in some way. It's been said that many have dreams or feel a call into its mysterious depths, lured by its promise of wealth and riches. One adventurer, Durnan, traveled across Undermountain in his younger days, returning with his spoils to make a tavern over one of its entrances called the Yawning Portal. The game takes place at the seedy tavern, the Growling Grog House within Undermountain.
Really?
All the players were down there because Durnan had gone missing and hadn't returned. The game had a very interesting mechanic that I really liked.
Oh?
You start out by handing all of your players a sheet with a list of characters that they can talk to in it. The players were trying to uncover as many clues as they could that could help them figure out what had happened to Durnan. Each table was given so much material to do that it's impossible for any one group to complete everything. Instead, they have to complete as much as they can and trade clues with each of the other tables.
Oh, so it's a multi-table collaborative.
We had a DM meeting, going over what was going to be happening and discussing the game in order to make sure that we were all on the same page. But there was one thing that I wasn't a huge fan of.
What?
The game was actually semi-competitive.
What?
Whenever a player collected a clue or completed a thing, the table kept track of their score. At the end of the game, whatever table got the most
See, that doesn't make
points
sense
was
because it incentivizes people to dick each other over.
I mean, if we won, everyone's a winner. But one table was more winner than the others.
Yeah.
I said to myself, this is gonna suck. The players and DMs are now competing with each other to get this high score. You're going to have tables who don't roleplay,
Oh god.
blitzing through the material just to get some kind of a prize. I think it'd be better if most tables just ignore it, which most probably are. You know what? I'm gonna be running my table extra slow. Dial down the speed so we're out of the running, just to be sure. We're gonna have a great night, even if we don't win some
what did he
stupid
do?
prize. Man, I'd hate to be at the table that won, that's for sure. Getting into the actual game, the adventure was very off the wall. It involved a lot of ridiculous missions, like playing poker against a beholder, challenging some guy to a fight in a fighting ring, helping someone write a poem, and so on. After the players had found a certain number of clues,
I'm not going to answer any of those blanks because that would go bad.
At my table, the mission was,
or awesome.
Oh no, there's been a terrible problem. The tap has been stopped up. If someone doesn't unclog the pipe, everyone in the tavern will quickly become sober.
Not sober!
Oh! The players quickly rushed into a
I love how that's actually
industrial-sized vat of ale, which went down so far you couldn't see the bottom.
Oh,
They're all
that's
given
amazing.
Ale breathing.
Ale breathing?
Unlock a new magic item? Yes. Don't write that on your sheets. For those of you who don't get this, in Adventures League, players use to redeem treasure points and unlocks. If they find a magic item, they can earn an unlock and use the
I'm just taking notes on how
this
is running for if I ever do it.
If the players find a dragon's hoard, they actually tell the DM what magic items they find in it. Technically, yes, it is an unlock, but when are the players ever going to use a potion of ale breathing other than at this very particular moment in time?
If they're really
I'm
drunk.
going to be so pissed off if this becomes a major plot point later. So, the players plumbed the depths of this tank, which had its own ale mermaids and an alcohol kelp forest. It truly was a magical wonderland.
Of beer!
Deep down, they encountered what was causing the problem. A booze kraken! Yes, a booze kraken. And they knew the only way to start the tap again was to defeat it. All right, guys.
A booze kraken?
Let's get cracking.
Even the kraken's not taking it.
Okay, well then. So the kraken grabs you and drags you down, and no one comes to help you, and you're hideously killed. And your lifeless body is never seen again, and everyone's okay with this. You know what? That's not fair. This is AL. You know what? The kraken comes in, kills the player, drags you off.
God.
And, just leaves the character. Kill the player instead. But I'm still here. I meant you're dead to us metaphorically. After that mission, my table did another when a portal.
I am actually taking note on
hey,
that one.
Man, we just got a portal open over to the Fae. There's a really happening party going on downstairs.
Where they're breathing
That's
ale.
where it's at, I'm telling you, man. Yeah. And the players went through the portal into the Fae party and ran into several Eladrin. What you looking at, boy? You looking at me? I said you looking at me. Back off, man. They're not worth it. Sweet Blossom. No, Nuts and Tulips. You guys think you can just roll in here from this side of the glade, but disrespected my home circle?
I feel they're making a
We're from
reference
the
to something,
meadows. We don't take
but I
nothing
don't
from
know
nobody.
what.
You wanna go? The monk punched the Eladrin once, and he went down crying, sobbing in a pool of his own tears.
Huh.
They also encountered several fairies, were locked in a mortal dance-off, and whoever could do the best booty shake would win. Who could best the fairies? Who had the power to get jiggy with it?
Who thought of
Stepping forward
this?
was the bard, rising to the
Oh
challenge.
no.
Finally, my moment has arrived. I always knew this day would come. I
Really?
told you, Dad, you were wrong. Now it's time for me to dance to save my friends.
One dance off later, they lost. And they're upside down.
Son, you're a disappointment to the family, and you always will be. But those were just what the lower level tables were doing. The tier 4 tables
That was a
had
lower
players of
level?
17th and higher levels. In their adventure, they enter into a bowling alley, and who shows up but none other than the elderly, frail wizard, Halastair, Blackcloak. They must compete with him in a bowling match, or else become trapped as slaves in the Undermountain. Halastair
They
takes
have
one of his
bowling in
withered,
there?
shaking hands, picks up a bowling ball, and very easily chucks his ball down the alley, getting an immediate strike.
Huh.
It turns out he doesn't use magic to bowl. He doesn't have to.
I've been bowling for over 800 years, challenging the greatest bowlers across the multiverse. I'm the 537th undefeated undermounted bowling
He's
champion
one of those.
as the human wrecking ball.
I'm more impressed he has a
You know,
hobby
funny thing,
and
I
terrified.
didn't actually find out what had happened to those players after that. They're fine, probably.
Oh, they're just
Eventually,
slaves.
After all the adventures and missions, the players discovered that there was a dragon who had captured Durnan and was attempting to enter into this reality, and we had to fight him to rescue the barkeep. Us DMs had
I have
conversations
questions.
about this dragon beforehand. I mean, this dragon fight is so stacked against the players, it's not even funny. First, they get teleported into a swamp on a small island, which conveniently is just small enough to get all the players in the dragon's acid breath. They initially get jumped by shambling mounds, which eat the players' reactions and spells. Once they're spent, the dragon then decides to show up, flying out of the player's reach and
Acid
firing
breath.
breath attacks. If the
Hey,
players
that guy's
try to
still
leave the
alive.
island into the
Ah,
mud,
too bad.
It's considered extra difficult terrain, which I didn't even know was a thing, which means that it costs triple to move through it. So there's 30 feet of move, only goes for about 10 feet now. So
Oh,
what
God.
that basically means is they're not going anywhere. By the way, even if they do,
Dodge
they get
roll,
attacked by legions
quickly.
Anyway, so you know, it's a tough fight. Eventually, the players won. The
How?
team was saved, and the adventure came to its thrilling conclusion. So finally, they come to the closing announcements. We're tallying up the final scores for who collected the most points. Most got about 4. Out of the 15 tables we had, one table, who will remain nameless, collected 1 point. We really got stuck, guys. A few of you got 2 or 3. Yay! One got 6. But the winner, with the most points, the runaway leader
What
with
dick
9
would do that?
points. Yes, an amazing 9 points. Please give a warm round of applause to Ben's Table. Yes, Ben's Table, who scored far and away the most points. Hooray for Ben's Table. To which
And now
my response
everyone
was,
will stare at
"Oh my
him."
God, I must have made a horrible, horrible mistake somewhere. maybe I did the math wrong or something." And I started panically
You
going
took
through
it
my
slow.
notes and adding up numbers. Nope, they were all right. The other players actually helped me keep track of the numbers and keep their own totals so we could actually confirm that it was correct. Afterwards, the other DMs and moderators were talking to me and brought up that they were actually really surprised their table collected as many victory points as we did.
Why?
I just laughed it off, and I didn't tell them this, but we completed even more material that didn't get written down. So each table unlocks their own personal mission, and if you have enough time, you can actually complete another table's mission. So not only did we collect 9 victory points and complete our own personal mission, we also did another table's mission.
How were they able to
as
move
well,
through it that
which I
fast?
didn't tell them about. It doesn't matter. D&D's not a contest unless I'm winning, in which case it totally matters. Even though here's the thing, I really believed I was wasting a lot of time doing bookkeeping stuff and having to reread material. I even did little things like I brought out poker chips and we played poker. Like, I genuinely thought I was going slow. But also that raised the question, why? Was it my players? Was it me? It had to be me, right? I mean,
I'm going with they probably just took their time and actually
all the
did
tables were
things,
set
and
up
they didn't
randomly.
BS as
A few
much.
did. And I did hear from some of the other tables that some of the groups got deadlocked because many of the players wouldn't help each other with their objectives.
Oh,
But
never mind,
ours
everyone else is a
really
dick.
worked together and really wanted to complete a lot of stuff.
So in other words, they were just
they
actually had
I think
teamwork.
maybe
Huh.
it was partly because of that, but
God, this image actually is
probably
painful for how much
partially
it's
also because
accurate.
of me, maybe. I don't know if it was me. Like, is that a good thing? Like, because I got thinking about this afterwards. Like, did the other tables have some kind of gripping narrative that we missed out on? Like,
Oh.
if I took 10 minutes to do something and the other table took 30 minutes to do that thing, like, did they have more fun? Like, did they go, like, really in depth with what was going on? Although I'm pretty sure my players cheesed a few of the encounters. Like, one of the enemies is a
Cheesed?
lich, which you're supposed to get rid of. He's supposed to leave the tavern. And my table just kind of picked him up and threw him down a flight of stairs. And that's how they got rid of him.
I mean, that
I
counts.
don't know exactly how the other tables handled that encounter, but I'm just going to go out
So in
on
other
a limb
words,
here
yeah,
and just
he
assume
just had a
it was
really
probably
good
lot
working
tougher for
table that
them.
didn't fight,
I think it was
and
also
they were
interesting
creative in their
because
solutions.
I always kind of
Huh.
suspected that I was a little bit of an air quotes fast GM that didn't like to linger in scenes too long, but this kind of cemented it a bit more for me.
Oh, God.
I guess it's also because I just don't like it when players get stuck for too long. I can kind of tell when about half the table is starting to check out of a scene, and I usually try to move things on to something else around that time. But other times I'm thinking to myself, like, one of the clues you get is asking some guy about a song. Like, that's like 10 minutes of material at most. How do you stretch that out for an hour of material? I mean, is it, like, I like to
A song?
roleplay,
Like, do you have
but
to
I also
sing the
like
song to
you know,
them?
move the story along. Like,
I have
wouldn't you
questions
get
on how that would be
bored just
represented as a
chatting
GM.
characters in character for hours? I don't know.
Again, I'm
That
actually
brings
taking
me
notes
back
right
to
now
my
in case I ever
original
do this.
question. Was it a good thing that our table went the fastest? And for the life of me, I can't tell you. I have
Although it sounds
no
like a
clue.
lot of the tables were just
Might have even
beating
been a bad
themselves
thing.
up, so it's
But
less
if
you
it
on
was
that
a
one.
bad thing, like, how many victory points would have been the best? Like, is there some kind of Goldilocks pace? 5?
Normally,
4?
I'd say you had the right
I guess you could say
option
it
where
varies from
every
group to
page.
group,
Oh, yeah,
which
that.
That's not really a satisfying answer. But maybe
As
that's the
long as you're
correct
not
one. I
bored.
don't know.
The checking out thing is probably
Maybe,
the best
just
indicator, I
maybe,
think.
the most fun table to be at was the one who only got 1.
Ooh. Okay, so most of that last video was actually really fun, and I would love to get into that event myself, and I just need to get more familiar with how to play D&D so I can drop into those if they're ever around, which I don't think they are, within an hour of where I live. Ugh. But more importantly, I kind of liked how he was looking at critiquing himself on the speed and how fast you move through material as a DM, because that's actually a really interesting point, because well, he says he tries to move through it so people don't check out of a scene, which is important, because I can imagine that if you were really belaboring something, someone got bored, they wouldn't really pay attention, they would probably be worse, then their boredom would infect the table, because bad vibes like that kind of spread. Not the most scientific way to put it, but accurate. I do like, though, that that's actually something to think about. I mean, again, I mentioned a few times I'm taking notes because every now and again I'll just like randomly come up with a counter and run Pretty Guardian through it because that's kind of fun. Trying to find more people, but right now literally 2 people is the only one we can get. Yeah. It's like when everyone lives far away and has their own lives and adulting, it's hard to get together for stuff. There's reasons why my group for Magic from college meets up once a year. Because we'll spend most of the year trying to find one day we can all meet up, and we finally get it. And at least 2/3 of the group show up at least. And then we wait another year for everyone else. And hopefully that year we get the other third that didn't show up. It's been going like that for a while. Yeah. And that's for a quick game. So I'm going to actually have to remember what I said it, because if they're really belaboring the point, but it's interesting and everyone's invested, I think he would have a point. That might be the best table. But on the same hand, if he was actually rushing through it, that might really de-emphasize the main point of D&D, which is the storytelling aspect, and just seeing how many stupid fun things can you say that would enjoy each other. Enjoy the scenario? Let's go with enjoy the scenario. That sounds a lot less pervy. Enjoy each other. That sounds like a really bad euphemism. Yeah. Next up is the worst solutions, and God help us when we get to see what that acronym means. Oh, God.
It took them a while, but after several sessions, with my insisting, the players in my Dungeons & Dragons group eventually settled on a team name.
Oh, no.
All right, what is it, you guys?
Turtle
What's
fuckers?
your name? Can't be worse than the last one.
Yes, it
That's
can.
it.
What's it?
We have decided to call ourselves the Warriors of Really Shitty Timing. Or worst for short.
Warriors of really shitty timing.
Well, great. Another name I have to censor. And even though the group was new, they had apparently already received some name recognition. Weren't they the guys who shot up the school? Those guys are the worst.
They recognize us.
Oh, my
We're
God.
famous now.
They even have
Warriors
a
of-
catchphrase now. Just remember, when you guys have problems, what you need is
The
worst
solutions.
solutions. The next leg of the player's road led them into the dream
Oh,
world.
my God. That's
The players were
that's
chasing
just...
down some missing children with their new music teacher companion,
Why?
who had ended up in the nightmare realms. Several of the students had taken up dream walking, where they would take dream routes to leave their physical forms behind to wander
Oh.
into the dream world, and they never came back. So the players
That
were just
face
left
on
with
that
the
was
children's
kinda pervy.
unconscious bodies.
Don't worry. I know places to hide the bodies
It's
where
so
no one will ever
freaking
be able to
cute.
find them again. Aw, thanks for helping out, Asiago. Hopefully we can find the kids in the dream
Wait,
world.
did she
and
just say
return
she
them
hides
back
bodies and
home.
no one finds them?
Okay. Just try not to set any more children on fire this time, okay? All right, I'll try.
The players chased them into the dreamlands. They found a host of odd and bizarre creatures. I describe a few and also talk about an otter who's using a cart with a little vest and a monocle.
What?
Hello there. My name's, Otterton? Yes, Artie Otterton. Captain Artie Otterton.
Oh, my God. It's
I'm a captain,
adorable.
don't you know? We're going on an adventure.
I need to
You're
show
going
Pretty
to
Guardian
come
this.
along with us. Oh, no. I appreciate the offer, but I'm very busy. That wasn't a question. Well, you know, I've
She's
got
evil.
many,
I love
many
it.
important things I must
Nope.
attend
You now
to.
belong to her.
I guess you could say I have otter things
No.
to do right now.
Your otter stupefaction isn't
So,
guaranteed.
Otterton joined up with the party. As the players plumbed deeper into the mystery, they had to get the rescued civilians out of there. So they had Otterton take the kids to safety on
Oh
his
my
cart.
God.
But Cordelia wasn't convinced.
I don't know if I trust Otterton. We just met him. Relax, he's fine. He's got his little monocle and a cute vest. Why am I the only one who doesn't trust the otter? I'm going to roll insight. 18. All right, he seems trustworthy.
Oh.
The players discovered a portal that the nightmares and dreams
Was
could
not
go through
expecting
to
that?
become real. Before they finished up in the dream realms, they had Audie Otterton pass through to the other side before destroying it. That way, he could be in the real world with them. I guess that's it. We're all in the real world now.
What does the otter look
adventure's
like in the
over.
real world?
Yeah, swear to God, Ben. This better not be a massive fake out where several sessions down the line we wake up and you say, I guess you guys never left the dream world and everything you've done so far has just been a dream.
That was his actual plan, seriously?
I'd do something like that.
Oh, my God.
The story continued into the real world and led up to an attack.
It's a
happening on
good thing they called him
civilians.
on, because that would be a
Not from
horrible,
him.
horrible...
It was
Oh,
a
no.
group this time. The druid struck one of the attackers with lightning and caused a small fire in the building.
She lit another
Don't
book.
worry, I've got it.
A rogue said,
Don't use...
"Took a bucket of water to put the fire out."
It's not water, is it?
There, I did it.
Oh, it's actually
Just
water.
the front. The rest of the building was still on fire.
Oh no, not the hospital.
And then the fire
Did they
jumped
just-
again.
Oh no, not
Hey,
the
a
puppy
hospital-
shelter.
And jumped again.
Oh no,
Now with
the
extra orphans.
orphanage.
And several children came running out on fire.
Oh, my
What did
God.
I say? We just instituted our no children on fire
Is
policy.
she
Okay,
already
we're not supposed
dead?
to be doing this. We had a conversation not even a day ago.
Oh, my God.
I'm sorry. It's okay.
I love how they make her
Really, it's my
obscenely
fault for
cute,
setting a
but
high
she's
bar
literally a giant
at
wrecking
first.
ball.
goal of no children on fire. Really, we should be thinking about reduced children on fire. And
just running through the background.
You know, as long as we're seeing some progress, some improvement, like every, fewer and fewer children.
I think this is more children on fire than the last time.
Really, was my
I think also that's the same kid who was on fire before.
Honestly, I feel like the real villain in this situation is the city planner. Who put those buildings close together? Where's the fire department in this place? Well, funny you should mention that because... Oh no! Not the fire department! But after a while, I eventually convinced them to save the kids.
To convince
I
them.
summon a tidal wave.
Great!
What?
You see several buildings floating past, on fire, and getting swept away with several orphans and puppies caught in the current. Later on, the children were rescued, and the day was saved.
Oh my god.
After the mission, the players discovered several sets of magic items. One of them turned out to be a wand of fireballs.
What? No.
Also, they now had a new companion, with Captain Audie Otterton in the real world. Our druid gave him gold to set up his own little company with his tiny, adorable boat, where he just started going out,
Audie's Fishing Co.
and taking them to market. He's so cute. Afterwards, it wasn't until later that they realized something. Wait a second. You don't think Otterton's going to betray the party, do you?
I insight checked him already. He didn't seem to be lying.
All that means is that his deception is higher than yours. If he really is a master of deception, with 20 levels of rogue and expertise, I could easily see him rolling like a 35 or something.
Is that even possible?
We were the ones who asked him to come along with us.
Maybe that was
remember?
part of his
But isn't that
plan.
exactly how a master of deception would work?
Or he now has a vendetta
You
against a
think it was
certain
your
druid who
idea
literally
the
shanghaied him.
whole time. No.
Then that means...
Yes. Otterton must have been playing us for fools the whole time.
I've already bankrolled him gold for his fishing scheme. I put everything in my name.
Exactly. So if he decides to betray the party, we're going to be getting in trouble. I can see it now. Otterton uses the fishing company as a cover for his fiendish schemes.
You mean like setting
Betrays
children
us,
on fire?
runs off with the gold, leaving behind a trail of
Like
bodies
attacking
and
a
blood
school?
that leads right to us.
Like burning down the fire department?
No one would suspect it was the otter the whole time. It's a perfect ruse.
It's worse for me. I put it all in my name. I'm in too deep. I'm going to have to kill you if something happens to
Oh
Otter.
god.
There's going to be some very serious PvP deaths coming up.
Calm down.
PvP
Don't you people
deaths. Oh my
see?
God.
This is exactly
The
what
adorable
he wants.
druid is evil.
We're tearing each other apart. The only reason we've probably managed to figure it out so far has been nothing more than his entire plan. We played right into his paws.
I love this. How they're making their own villain.
Tiny furry paws. Admit it.
Adorable
we're
furry
nothing more
paws.
than pawns in this game he's playing.
What do we do?
Now, nothing. It's obvious that Audie Otterton could probably take the entire group easily in single combat. If we were to try something now, we'd lose. Only thing we can do is play along, figure out what he's planning. So the group kept working with Otterton. While the players were on downtime, another situation came up.
What?
You know how there's like magic in the world? Well, that magic just stopped working for a while.
What?
For 2 hours in the morning, no one could cast a spell, and all the magic items stopped.
Oh.
It was almost like
Hey,
the
no,
entire
they just set the
continent
kids on
was
fire.
under an anti-magic field, or some kind of a magical power outage, and then it abruptly just came back. Immediately,
Huh?
there was a panic across the city and continent, and the world's governments had a council to get
They
to
have
the
world
bottom of it.
governments?
This set the players out across the ocean.
I'm
to
actually not
figure
even
out what
sure.
was
I
going on,
did not
riding
know
on Audie
D&D had
Otterton's
world
boat,
governments.
which was cramped, but seemed to have enough room for them.
Oh, wait, it's their own
What
canon.
will happen on this next leg of their exciting journey? The players already
The
know that
otter
everything
is
that's going
in
on
on
is
it all
nothing
the
more
way.
than a fiendishly devised scheme from Otterton's plan. How did he stop magic from working? And what cog could the party possibly play in his machinations of evil? Will our heroes be able
I
to
love
avoid
it.
their
He's just
inevitable
there, and they're
demise
just-
stop Otterton?
Just staring at
Probably
him.
not. But maybe, just maybe, they might.
Oh god. I'm not sure which part I like more. The fact that there is actually a potion of ale breathing and since it's from a D&D module, apparently it's a thing in canon D&D. Or that they convinced themselves that the otter was the villain. I don't know which it is. I mean, knowing Ben, he probably actually is the villain. Or it's all by accident and he's the villain. He doesn't realize it because he's so cute. There's so many things I'm actually taking notes of here. One, the druid, who needs to be told not to light people on fire because they burned down the orphanage with extra orphans. So that little sign they put in there, that's just, it's a thing of beauty. I love how it always fails in the most horrible ways. I will say, though, that from a standpoint of just practicality, I'm very curious how they got away with some of this stuff. Like, one, the artwork of the cute druid is like, oh my god, that's adorable. Do you, like, I know he's an artist for obvious reasons, and he's showed other pictures from other people who he's played with, but does he exclusively play with people who are really good artists who actually give art for their characters? Because that would actually be really cool if each person had their character's image out there while they're playing, because from a standpoint of just in-person playing, that actually would be really fascinating and definitely an advantage to playing with other artists. You can each just do that and show your vision of what you look like, which is kind of like character customization, but, you know, more personalized and less digital. Also, in my case, no, doable. I can't draw or create characters. They always come off looking weird. Small heads for some reason. I am just so... I want to play a game with this kind of scenario. Like the crazy things that happen, all the weirdness, just the setting the buildings on fire and then putting it out. You failed. The fact that when the paladin decided to give the druid the no children on fire talk, the cuteness level actually succeeded in dropping it from no children to less children on fire. That's... Oh, what is up with my mustache? Weird. Yeah, I don't know why children on fire made me look at my mustache. I'm going to make a point not to unpack that line of thought because that way lies madness. You guys know the deal, though. That was great. Both episodes were great. There's a link to both down below. Make sure to hit them up because that... Oh, God, I need to go show Pretty Guardian this one. She'll get a kick out of it. Just, it's so... kind of surprised the samurai was in there in the background and then he wasn't anymore. I was kind of expecting him to be like the villain now that they've officially kicked him out of the party because he had a thing for murder. Yeah. Also, since his master kind of abandoned him, would that make him a Ronin now? Does that even function in D&D? I literally have no idea. But yeah, link below. You already hit up? Great. I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.
Thank you.